All right, I'm Rabbi Patrick here with my son Javon, Rabbi and son. Javon, how are you doing? Always doing fine. All right, this is from Electrical Bus 8286. These are all throwaway accounts, I'm convinced. This person wants to know if they are the A. So here we go. This is a little bit of an opposite land from some of the other ones that we've done recently. So let's see what you think, Javon. Okay, so my husband and I, they're in their 30s, have 2 young children. We're conservative Jews, and I'll just pause for context for people who don't know what that means. These are people who you might think of as like the liberal version of orthodoxy. And so they give examples for this. They follow the laws of kashrut, so kosher, Shabbat, Jewish holidays. Okay, so we kind of get a sense of who these people are. We were both raised in Jewish homes. My parents were more traditional and have become more religious over time, while my husband's parents have become less observant over time. One of my brother-in-laws married into a very secular family. The other married into a Catholic family. We obviously love them all the same and spent plenty of time together. Before we had children, my husband and I would usually concede our practice preferences in the name of spending time with family. Okay, got it. But that has now changed as we have small, impressionable children. The issue is that my husband's parents have not understood why my husband and I are setting boundaries because of our religious observance. They are unhappy that we do not attend our nephew's baseball games on Saturdays, as we're in synagogue services, for example, even if we attend the ones on Sunday. Family for them takes priority, even if it means not celebrating a big holiday. I respect them and their choices, and I'm trying to raise my kids to have a good relationship with their extended families, while also instilling in them the values their father and I hold dear until they're old enough to decide for themselves. Gotta say, I'm on this woman's side right now, and I don't even know what the problem is. Okay, I had a bit of a difficult situation recently. We were over at my in-laws with all of my brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, nieces, and nephews for Shabbat, and my in-laws were making us some vegetarian food and made the rest of them a dish with shrimp, with shellfish, not kosher. My youngest, who is 4, knows about kashrut and asked me, why is Grandpa eating shrimp? Isn't shrimp not kosher? Which I did not know how to answer. My husband did not seem like he had an answer. My children, 4 and 5, are both a little young, I think, for conversation on free will and how every individual is entitled to make their choices and freedoms. I froze in that moment and told him a story that I thought was neither too big of a lie or something insulting to anyone at the table. I said, remember how in Judaism the biggest commandment is preserving and saving a life and doing things for our health? Well, Grandpa has a medical condition. I like this. And turns out shrimp is what can help him to feel better. So that's why he does it. Isn't that cool how human health is the most important thing? If he were older, I would obviously explain to him that his grandparents are less observant, but he's at an age where he's very impressionable and is learning a lot of concepts. I fully support him deciding for himself when he's older what he wants, but I worry it would be confusing for him now to see his grandparents doing something that he learned at school is quote-unquote not open. My husband later told me that I should have just turned the question to his dad. Am I a horrible parent for lying to my child? I feel like he's too young to grasp the concept of agency. All
okay,
right.
I jump in first.
Please jump in first.
Because you know how I feel about
everything. Go for it.
I think that she's trying to make this case for he has agency, but yet he doesn't. You are making these decisions for him. Like you're
for a 4-year-old.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're being like, but he's going to learn later, that, what it means to, have an opinion, what it means to do what you want to do. But then it's like, but we're also teaching him that, we're teaching him this thing.
Right.
And we don't want him to be, to question these things that we're teaching him, at least not now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's a weird juxtaposition, between, she's contradictory. It's like really.
Well, yeah, that's why she's torn up about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you should just, honestly, you should keep religion vague around kids. They don't even know what's going on.
Well, and that's what she was trying to do. She didn't know how to keep it vague in the moment. And so she went to something kind of preposterous,
Yeah, and then you lied for no reason.
Yeah, because she didn't think her kid was developmentally capable enough to understand this idea of like free will and people make their own choices and stuff like that. Because he's little.
Yeah, but see, and this is a lot of people with kids need to realize that they were kids once.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of stuff I know, like wasn't supposed to know as a kid that I knew. So I was just, curiosity, just
curious Evan.
Exactly, curiosity just crept, and I had to creep with it and learn some things.
Yeah.
No, kids are very observant. They know when moods change. They know when they know. So you doing all this lying is like weird. You could have just been like, well, we don't eat shrimp, but your grandpa does.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He
wants shrimp, he can eat shrimp. I can't control that.
Yeah, and that's actually, I agree with you 100% on that sometimes the simplest answer actually is the best one.
How some people like, broccoli and other things.
And grandpa, yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, that's simple and cute. You trying to make it like ridiculous lie?
Yeah,
like it's quite ridiculous.
Yeah, I sympathize because as a parent, sometimes in the moment you don't know what to say and you go in the wrong direction, and we're all doing the best we can. I really am sympathetic to what she's trying to do because she's not doing what all of these other people in these other, am I the A's have been doing, which is like, these stories of people who are just like completely unsympathetic characters who are like making their families' lives terrible because they're trying to be real pushy and difficult and like centering everything around them and whatever. This woman is like going to something where technically the dishes aren't kosher, right? Because they're eating shrimp on them, right? But she's making an accommodation. We'll have the vegetarian, right? Things like that. So this is a person who's trying to live with their family as much as possible. And I really respect that. Because I'm sure that for her, that's, she's making accommodations, right? In order to make it work. But yeah, like kids are, I agree with her that kids aren't really capable of handling a big conversation. It also isn't the right time for a big conversation. Like, why is grandpa eating shrimp? Because grandpa isn't religious the way we are. We do it differently than grandpa is. And when we get home, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But right now, let's, enjoy our whatever.
No, I just feel like she started off with kids are impressionable. And then, like, she went off to, but he's going to do what we think is, right. And we're going to raise him with, the morals we have. But then it's like, but she gets on this conversation about, like, he doesn't know, he doesn't understand, that he could blah, 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 and people do blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It feels weird to me with these situations. I just think, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she even said in the post that like she's gonna teach the kids what she and her husband are gonna teach the kids what they believe. They're gonna practice the way they practice as a family, but then the kids are gonna be adults and make their own choices, and that's fine for them.
I mean, but they can start making their own choices any day.
Not at 4.
If you want to,
is the 4-year-old going to be like peeling shrimp and like making whole meals for the family? Like
no, but the 4-year-old could be like, "Grandpa, can I get some shrimp?"
Yeah, nice.
Or take shrimp off the grandpa plate.
Nah, nice try.
What? 4-year-olds don't get food off of anyone else's plate. They don't ask for food.
Well, they do. Exactly. And that's part of what her problem is this is the tricky thing, and this is where some of these people that are more difficult would say, yeah, see, we can't accommodate because this kind of thing happens, right? So this is why you have the people that are so like line in the sand that they anger their family. Because on the opposite side, you have a person who's like, we're coming over for Shabbat dinner and they're making shrimp. And we're trying to be as kind of open to that and whatever is possible. We've come up with this accommodation that we're going to eat some other dish. That's fine. Whatever. Everybody's happy. But yeah, like, until your kids have agency, like total agency, you do kind of get to control their lives a little bit. I mean, that is kind of what being a parent is.
Food they don't want to eat.
Oh, well, that's true. I mean, that definitely, I've tried to feed you things and you're an adult.
Exactly. So if like the kids are like, like say they get, I don't know, 12 or something, and they're like, I'm sick of. I don't want to eat vegetarian food. I want to eat the shrimp that everyone else eats. Are you gonna berate them because they want to eat the shrimp?
No,
or are they their own people? And
I think adolescence is when you start to become a person. So that's like, we said this with you when we adopted you. Like, in this household, there are certain set standards. And when you go out, it's game on. Like, whatever you want to do, you're your own person. Just understand.
Okay, but that's you. We're talking about her. She's on the conservative side. You're like,
but I would say that she and I have a lot in common. Because what did she say? She said kashrut, Shabbat, holidays. Like, that kind of is what this household looks like. Conservative is just a label that she's using to define a set series of practices that are meaningful to her, with the accommodations that she makes as well. And like, I think that she'll probably wind up doing what we did with you, which is like, the household, the dishes are what they are, but like, outside of the household, you're your own person, use your own money, go have shrimp with grandpa, like, enjoy your time with your grandparents,
Yeah, so I just feel like one, she shouldn't have lied.
Yeah.
Like, I get like, you just making that up. Like,
yeah, one lie then turns into another, because now the kid's going to be like, what illness does grandpa have? Does he have cancer? Does he have shrimp cancer?
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know, just say, some people like something else, and you're like, well, we don't like that in our house.
Yeah, our house is different. This house, they do that. In our house, it's different.
And there it is.
Yeah, I sympathize. She was trying in the moment. She got too in her head. It got too brainy. So she developed an elaborate lie, which is so unnecessary.
Why was the husband quiet? And then when they got home, he was like, oh, you should go to your dad. You could have said that. You could have said that. You could have said something. You're also a parent.
Yeah.
Like, you just watched that happen. And then, hours later, you should have just told me. Like, what? That is such what?
That is such a parenting move. Yep. This when we first adopted you, we noticed that you would ask me government questions and politics questions, and then you would ask Stephanie religion questions. And I always kind of thought maybe it was because you were trying to like work both angles to see like where the cracks were in the foundation. Because it's like, you'd think it would be the other way around given our jobs that we do. But,
exactly. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it was fun.
Exactly.
Very cool. All right. Well, I sympathize with, electrical bus 82, 86. You're a mom trying to do the best you can. And, sometimes we, make a mistake, but like, you're not the worst person in the world. Just remember what
We're not the worst parent in the world. Cause trust me, people have done worse.
That is very fair.
But yeah, no, next time you're husband.
Yeah.
Like that's so wow. Like, there's no way you waited hours.
Yeah.
Like, you should have did this. You were in the same room.
Yeah. Watch, there's going to be a follow-up to this, and it's going to be like, am I the A for like divorcing my husband over a Reddit post about shrimp?
Yeah. Come on, people.
Oh, God. Here's hoping not. All right. Anyway. Yep, that's that. You're a good parent. You're doing the best you can. That's all any of us can ever do. Thank you to our sponsors at Darshan Yeshiva for making this content possible. Darshan Yeshiva provides beginner-level online Jewish learning, including the very popular Conversion to Judaism program, with sponsoring rabbis and students all over the world. Start your Jewish journey any place, anywhere, and anytime with our conservative, reform, reconstructionist, Jewish renewal, humanistic, and post-denominational rabbi mentors. Become the Jew you always wanted to be with Darshan Yeshiva.